Mr. Allen,
Hey, how you doing, Governor?
man, I'm doing great. This is so cool. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. Happy to hop on with you.
Absolutely. You're in San Diego right now?
Yeah, yep, hometown.
That's great. But you're still sporting the Phillies hat, man. I like to see that.
You know what? It's funny because when I was playing, um, I wore this hat, and on the sideline, like I would do several times, and people thought it was Philly, but it was really from our little league uh, baseball team here. It was
Oh, no
Peninsula, but
way.
it was a proper green and everything just hit right. So, and
That
now they
does.
make them. Mitchell and Ness makes them now for the
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles. So it's pretty cool.
I love that. That looks
Yeah,
really sharp. That
yeah,
looks really sharp. Hey, it's a real honor for me to talk to you, man. Thank you for giving me some of your time. I know you've got a lot of demands on you and your schedule, and I'm a huge sports fan,
yeah.
and
That's what I heard.
obviously the biggest cheerleader for Pennsylvania. So the chance to get to talk to you and both celebrate your accomplishment and also celebrate a great Pennsylvania accomplishment is really special for me. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So you mind if we just hit it? I can ask you
Oh
some
yeah,
questions. And I guess, I mean, to me, I watched you play, and it was shocking to me when I looked at the calendar, and it was 30 years ago that you
yeah,
played for the Birds.
yeah.
Um, I'm sure it's probably shocking to you too that 30 years has gone by, but what's kind of the thing that sticks with you to this day from your time playing with the Birds? Because obviously I know you played with a few other squads, but
Yeah, yeah.
tell me about the kind of memories with the Birds and sort of what that thing is that sticks with you.
Yeah. First off, when you're growing up as a youngster and you're, out in the street playing like we did here in Southern California, you just know like the people that's like in your reach, who you can kind of
Yeah.
touch and see. And Pop Warner, we practiced at Lincoln High School, which most people know Lincoln
Yeah.
is famous for putting pros in the NFL. But there was a guy named Wally Henry who was a kick and punt returner for the UCLA Bruins, but he started off at Lincoln and he was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles. So when we were younger, we all would be in the street saying, "I'm Wally Henry. I'm Wally Henry, and I'm going to play for the Eagles." So
Yeah.
fast forward, 12 years, 13 years later, I get drafted, and I just didn't have any idea, what a great city and fan base it was, and then to be walk in the locker room and Buddy Ryan, like the architect of the, Bears and Eagles defenses, is my head coach. Reggie White is on my team, Jerome Brown, Clyde Simmons, Randall Cunningham, Mike Quick,
Yeah.
and my dear friend Wendell Young. So just the from going from like college to a real professional football team that had
Yeah.
great history
Yeah.
was just unbelievable.
Well, so I want to ask you about both those things that you mentioned. Buddy Ryan, I want to ask you what it was like to play with him. And then I want to ask you about one Eagle that you kind of look to in the locker room and on the field who would teach you something that made you a better player.
Right.
So either order, you start with Buddy, you start with one
Yeah.
player, whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Buddy was very demanding, and you had to earn his respect.
Yeah.
Sitting down with him was kind of like sitting down with a genius on the defensive side of football, and it was intimidating. It really was, to have to understand what's expected of you on game day. So when I first sat down with Buddy, and my position coach was Jeff Fisher, who went on to
Oh,
be
right.
head coach.
He
Yeah,
went to the Titans, didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
Titans. He coached the Rams. Just a really good,
Yeah.
thorough guy. And he was a younger coach. He had just stopped playing for the Bears and came over with um, Coach Ryan from the Bears to the Eagles. But understanding, like, we didn't go to a huddle as a defensive team. Everyone was expected to know the call based on the formation. So people thought we were kind of, lazy, kind of hanging around, but all 11 guys on the football field were almost like middle linebackers. When the formation came, we
You
had to
knew
go,
where you had to
we
go.
knew exactly what we had to do. And if the guy motioned or shifted, and if there's adjustment, we all had to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And early on there were some guys who didn't get it, and there were a couple of mental busts, and it's
But
like,
he'd
oh
shoot him
well,
out, I bet.
but once we got it down, and I thought that was for me to start playing with a cerebral approach. My first year really helped me tremendously throughout my career.
So I want to ask you about your fellow Eagles who you were on the field with, but let me ask you this. I want to jump ahead real quick. Anybody today, any team today playing defense at the level that you guys did that Buddy commanded? I'm not asking who you're rooting for, who your
Yeah,
favorite, none
yeah.
of that, but like when you watch the games, do you go, man, those guys know how to play defense the way we did?
I the 49ers right now are the closest to that, being able to make those checks, but it's because of their amazing middle linebacker is so prepared. So he's able to get guys ready. But
Hey.
because of free agency, Gov, you're not having the opportunity to put 3 or 4 great seasons with tremendous talent,
Yeah.
back to back. And that's really the difference,
Yeah.
look like the Eagles
You
2 or 3
had that.
years ago, yeah,
I
had
mean, you
Hassan
had the
Reddick,
gangrene, right?
yeah, you have that. And that's so important for us to have 4 or 5 years with Reggie, myself, Clyde,
Jerome.
Jerome, Seth,
Yeah,
Andre
yeah.
Waters, so all those guys. And so now we're able to bounce things off each other. And nowadays, and I don't blame the players. If
Yeah.
you have 1 or 2 Pro Bowl seasons, you're out the door looking for a new contract.
Yeah. But tell me what that was like, man. Gangrene,
Yeah.
it's just unbelievable. And to be able to play with the likes of
Oh
Reggie
man.
White,
Yeah.
Jerome Brown, maybe he rest in peace, Seth. I mean, these
Yeah.
guys were unbelievable. And you said Andre Waters, you forgot his middle name, Andre Dirty
Dirty
Waters.
Waters.
He
Yeah.
played.
that was
But
that was my that was my first road roommate, was Dre, man. And I
oh
learned so
man,
much from him, and we've lost so many of those players from those great teams way too early for one reason, or another. But the security that a young player has, because when I first got there in '88, Roy Nell Young, who was kind of my mentor,
right.
had played in the Super Bowl against the Raiders, his rookie year. So, he had been through it, knew every receiver, and really taught us, the defensive backs, kind of how to navigate, through Philadelphia. On Fridays, he would take us downtown Philly. We would go shopping at Boyd's. We'd eat at
Oh,
at a different,
you
location.
guys were looking good, I
Oh
bet.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The whole deal. This is how you be a pro, man.
Yeah.
Don't live beyond your means. He did such an incredible job, and I definitely sent him a invitation to be a part of the Hall of Fame. So hopefully he shows up. But he was the guy who really taught me how to be a pro on and off the football field. But I wanted to be like Reggie. I wanted to,
He
when
was
Reggie
unbelievable.
walked in rooms, I wanted that kind of respect. And that was kind of my mission. And obviously you can never get to where he was because, he was the perfect
Yeah,
defensive football player.
he was.
Size, speed, tenacity, everything.
When you were out there with those guys, did you and don't take this in any way to be disrespectful.
No, no,
Like,
not at all.
did you feel like you belonged there with them? I mean, you were
Definitely.
awesome. And I'm going to ask you obviously
Yes.
about the Hall of Fame here in a second. You're getting that recognition, but when you walked out there with
Oh man.
greatness, were you like, hey, I can hang with these guys who are damn, like, I don't know if I
There
belong
was,
here.
I
What
tell
was it
you,
going on inside your head there with those guys?
you are right on the money, because it took a while to, you're going at halftime, and like the first thing is like Buddy Ryan is talking to me and talking to our defense about, execution and, those kind of things. and you're looking around the room, and Reggie's there, and Jerome, and all these great players.
Yeah.
Mike Quick at the time
Yeah.
was like, it was like Jerry Rice and Mike Quick. I mean,
Yeah.
Mike Quick was an incredible football player, and if he doesn't get hurt, there's no way, he doesn't have a gold jacket also. And then you got, which everyone kind of compares Lamar to, and we have Randall Cunningham. So it is an adjustment period for not just 2 or 3 games, but an entire rookie season
Yeah.
that you're playing. And not until that next year did I really feel comfortable and like speaking up and voicing, hey, what I think is happening from a back end standpoint.
Interesting.
And it took a whole year. Tell you a crazy story. The first time we played the Giants, and Reggie is always has great respect, and there was never any banter when Reggie's on the football field as far as like the offensive guys are saying. Everyone's quiet, just playing games, And
Okay.
but when Lawrence Taylor got on the football field, I got on one knee and just watched him. And I was like, I'm watching the two best. I have the best seat in the world. I'm watching the two best defensive players maybe in the history of football go at it, And the offensive players weren't saying anything, but the defensive guys were shouting back and forth.
You
Like,
were all
I got a sack. Can you beat that? So it's like being in that moment was just was awesome.
Let me ask you about another moment. I mean, that great goal line stand back in October of '92. I mean, what was it, like 6, 7, something like that? I think it was 7 stops
Yeah. There's
goal
just
line.
another one and another one. Yeah.
Tell me about that. Well, I mean, that was like, and you had a couple penalties, not you personally, but
Yeah.
team had a couple penalties throughout, so you had to keep going there.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, I remember watching that. That was incredible.
That was the time where Seth Joyner had really established himself, because Steph came from New Mexico State or University of Next or something like that, and he was kind of just there, a really late round draft choice, and always behind guys, and Buddy and Jeff, those guys really challenged him, but he really didn't take that all Madden type leap until Bud Carson got there. And that's another name that people may not be familiar with.
Right.
But he was the guy who was able to extend that great Gang Green defense. Bud was tremendous. And he really had a sit down and a heart-to-heart with Seth to try and talk to him about what he possibly could be. So that year, those years, like 92, 90, that was Seth Joyner just kind of taking hold. Oh, man, just taking hold. And, he was the leader that we all think about. Reggie was really quiet by action. Seth is in your face, telling you exactly what the play is going to be before the play is ran. And that's why we're able to continue to have success in the goal line, because he's like, they're running right here. They're running right here.
He would call it, and you just knew where to go.
He was that guy that really took our defense as a complete whole and was that great leader from the linebacker position. So it was really on him. And then us just kind of follow him, like, we're not going to let these dudes score no matter what happens.
That's amazing. I remember it was like, 2 or 3 plays where you stop, and then all of a sudden you guys were like getting up. I'm like, they're never going to let the Cardinals into the end zone here. It's
right. It's like 6th down and 2 yards to go. 7th down and 2 yards to go.
That's an interesting insight about Seth, though. Reggie was the kind of show, don't tell.
Right.
And Seth was show and tell.
Well,
and I think sometimes people don't remember that or don't know that about that defense.
And because of the journeys, right? You have one guy who's, a #1 draft choice, but has always been at the top of his game. Reggie came in and was just automatically just a phenomenal football player because of his skill set.
Yeah.
Seth and Clyde, on the other hand, were late round draft choices that took them time to develop and learn how best to, navigate, the league. And they were two phenomenal players, but Seth's, and you can see it now, he has podcasts and he does the media stuff. I mean, just a very in your face, say it like it is, not going to hold back. And he kind of ruled that locker room for, years and years, after he kind of gained that prominence.
So I got to ask you, when you found out you were going to have to leave the Birds,
Yeah.
right? Now, this was after Reggie had left, right? He went on
Right.
to Green
Yeah.
Bay. I know a lot of Birds fans, myself included. We followed the rest of your career. Uh, Tell me what that feeling was like when you had to leave that really just unique team that we had here that you were such an important part of.
Yeah. It's sort of like you are got your master's degree and all these promising things are ahead of you, but you've graduated and you're out searching for the right job, you
Yeah.
know. And yeah, you have all of the credibility and you have all the paperwork and everything there, but you really don't know what your next move is. And everyone's excited and things like that. And in a way, because not only was Reggie gone, but Seth and Clyde both left too the year
Yeah.
before.
That's right.
So
That's right. Yep. Yep.
yeah, so I kind of felt like I didn't want to be in that team rebuilding. None of the coaches really I really identified with. Was Ray Rhodes. He came over from the 49ers tree.
Yeah.
But it was just a different vibe, right? And
Yeah.
I was used to being in Philadelphia and walking into the locker room and ownership and kind of understanding like the path forward.
Yeah.
And although Mr. Lurie is a phenomenal owner and has done an
He is.
incredible job, I just didn't know him or the general manager. So I thought it was best that, I try and go to a place where I can kind of renew that
Yep.
energy to try and get to a championship,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so that's kind of it was sad, because me
Yeah.
and my wife both loved the city. We lived over in New Jersey and Cherry Hill. We had
I
just a
won't hold that against you.
yeah, yeah, but it was sad. And I always, on Monday, I always cracked open the paper and kind of looked at the Birds and find out where they were.
How
So
they doing?
yeah, it was sad, but it was a situation where I thought it was best for me and my
Yeah.
family to go to another place.
So before I get to the call that just came in recently about the Hall of Fame, tell me what life has been like for Eric Allen over the last 3 decades out of football, or
Well,
2.5
yeah,
decades out of football. What should
yeah,
people?
Gov. I'll tell you, goes back to a promise that Buddy Ryan made to me coming out of college, and he said, "Hey, you know, you're a football player now, and I want you to be the starting cornerback. And to do that, you're going to have to withdraw from school and come back here." And I was like, "All right, But he said, "Here's what I'm going to do for you. I know you want to be in communications and those kind of things. I'm going to get you an internship at one of the local stations here. You're going to be able to utilize that, and if you can, get a show." So I started working with Yuki Washington.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Good
did a
man.
show with
When he was
Yuki.
doing sports, now he's
Yes,
the news
yeah,
anchor.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I did an internship with Yuki. Did my radio internship was with Philly Billy Warndale,
Oh
uh,
my
and
God. Yeah.
so that set me up to be able to collect all those cars. So when you get interviewed, when teams come in, when TV crews come in, they come in usually with an analyst, a former player, and a producer. They sit down. They're like, "Hey, what's going on with the defense?" So you sit down and talk with them. I would always keep those business cards. I was like, "Hey, let me have your card."
Yeah.
So I'm playing for the Raiders, and I'm in the locker. I'm in the locker. It's after the Tuck Rule game. So 14 years earlier, my first playoff game was the Fog Bowl.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. In
Chicago.
Chicago. In Chicago. 14 years later, I'm sitting in the locker room and it's the Tuck Rule. And I'm like, it may not be meant to be. for me, the Super Bowl, because I've been on these great teams. And so I didn't make my decision there. So fast forward, we get to the summer. I walk into Mr. Davis's office, and I'm like, hey, Mr. Davis, I really appreciate everything. This was a dream come true to play for the Eagles and now the Raiders, my two great teams, because of Marcus Allen, San Diego guy,
Sure.
played for the Raiders, obviously. I said, but I think I'm done. He's like, what are you talking about? So we go home. He sends me a roster bonus check to try and get me to lure me to
Get you
come
to
back.
sign up. Yeah. Oh my God.
We had to send it back. But all those cards I collected, I kept kind of going through them. And the guy I had a connection with was working at ESPN. I had my agent call ESPN. Hey, can I come in for a interview? Going for an interview. We were doing a highlight of, I think it was like Randy Moss and Charles Woodson, my former teammate. I kill it. I blow it away. I'm like going into detail about what happened, what coverage it was, whatever. And I start working for ESPN that August. So I go from
No
playing
break.
to talking about it. Worked for ESPN for 15
Long
years.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, just had a great time there. Seth Marksman and Boomer, all those great guys, Chris Mortensen, all those great guys had a great time just talking about the game I love. And from there, worked for the Pac-12 network for a couple of years. And for the last six years, I've been with the Las Vegas Raiders since we moved to Las Vegas. So we won 2 Emmys. It's just been an incredible opportunity that football has provided for me, and just kind of love the game and love still being in the game. Obviously, this year with the Eagles winning the Super Bowl, being able to come back, being an honorary captain,
That was
was
very
awesome.
cool.
So yeah,
Very
things are
cool.
things are very good right now.
You're blessed. So, all
Yes,
right,
I am.
let's talk about the call.
Yeah.
First off, I think people want to know, like, are you surprised when you get the call? Do they set it up? Like, how's that work? And then what are you feeling? So give
Yeah.
me the nuts and bolts. Give me the X's and O's on the call, and then
Okay.
tell me about your heart and what you were feeling.
Yeah. First, it's a long time, and that people who know me and kind of, that's the first thing a lot of people say. Hey, man, it was a long time. But I really never looked at it like that. I always looked at it was just going to be whenever they got it right. Because if they didn't change the criteria to get in there, I was going to get in and just eventually win. So
Yeah.
and I was always busy. I was always working. And, when the Hall of Fame stuff came around, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I played with that dude. Oh, yeah, that's great, man. I never had any kind of ill feelings about
Yeah,
anybody
you
getting
kind of
in,
moved
or
through your day and moved on.
not until last year. Last
Okay.
year, it kind of started to creep up on me a little bit. I was like, hey, hold up. It's like, hold up there. Let's check who's in there. And, let's start kind of figuring out what's going on here. So last year was the first year that I actually kind of went out and kind of pounded the pavement for myself, and
Interesting.
we got close. We got to the semifinalists. You get a phone call the week before the Super Bowl. Hey, EA, sorry you didn't make it. You can't say anything until, after the NFL honors, but hopefully you'll be there next year. So, okay. So this year came up, did a little more things, and the Raiders and Eagles are both amazing at making sure I was
Yeah.
speaking with the right people. I didn't know at the time the Hall of Fame had changed the criteria to get in, and they let go of some people because they weren't really taking it seriously. So it was like 85% now, where, up until that point, it had been like 70, 75%. So a little more difficult, and they allowed some Hall of Fame players to actually add, like, some suggestions.
Yeah, like advocate a little bit for.
Yeah, right. So all those things were great for me, obviously. So as the time was going, you get to the 16 final, the semifinalists, and I'm still in there, and it's the Super Bowl is like a week or two away, and I haven't gotten a phone call
You
yet.
didn't get the bad
I
call.
didn't get the bad call yet, so I'm like, all right here, things could be doing really well. Little did I know, they had called my wife, um, like, 2 weeks ago, and like he made it. We just kind of set it up to where we can come
Wow.
surprise him. Who do
She
you
kept
want?
that from you?
Yeah, who do you want to be the presenter? And they gave her a couple names, and obviously it was like Mike Haynes, who I love, and I think he's the greatest cornerback ever. Played for the Raiders, but he's a San Diego guy, and me and our kids go to school together. Of course, Marcus, who's my hero, and then it was Randall McDaniel. Randall and I went to college together. We on a recruiting trip together when we were like 16 years old, and he's already in. So she was like, Randall McDaniel, you got to get him out of here no matter what. So she came up with this elaborate plan that we were gonna, give an award to my granddaughter who goes to school right down the street. So that's why everyone's at the house. My, kids are flying in from college and everything. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's
You got
great.
the whole
We're
family
all.
here.
I'm like, but I was like, I haven't received a call, and one of my boys is here from school. He should be in school training, and he's here. So man, Gov, as soon as that knock, because we're all kind of head out the back door, the
Okay.
knock on the front door, it all came around. I was like, oh man, I was like, yes. So I run to the front door and I see Randall, and he's in this, he's like 6'5", 300 and something pounds. Has this
Wow.
big gold jacket on. So
Oh
I'm
man.
overwhelmed, just kind of really excited, and more so for all my family and friends who all this time have been
Yeah.
telling everyone that they can they know that I should be in there. So it was
When
gratifying, a dream come true.
when did Mrs. Allen fess up that she knew? How long did she let you go there?
Yeah. So we invited them in, and we're like automatically all this stuff comes from out of the closet, and hot dogs and
Wow.
rolls and everything. I'm like, what is going? So she admitted, yeah, she did a great job though.
That's
She's
amazing.
an amazing. She did an awesome job. But yeah, after that, I'm like, that's why I was in the front yard cleaning up, and I thought people were gonna come back for a party. She did
I
a
love
great
it.
job, but it was just a wonderful moment, and the NFL Network did an amazing job of kind of capturing the family and the surprise and what is happening.
It's really cool. I
Yeah,
mean, man, you're the 10th cornerback
yeah,
ever and the first bird. Like, that's amazing. You got to feel, I mean, you're in rare air right there. That's
man.
really special.
Yeah, I one of the one of the details that I wanted everyone to kind of understand is there's DBs, there's safeties, and then there's cornerbacks, and we're a really small group.
Yeah.
And there's cornerbacks, great players who have played cornerback and then moved to safety, like Rod Woodson. Like Charles even went to safety.
Yeah.
Ronnie Lott played cornerback his first couple of years, went to safeties.
Right.
So the numbers, Gov, are totally different when you're a free safety and you're like playing center field. Myself, Daryl Green, Mike Haynes, and pretty much Prime are the guys who specifically played cornerback. So it's kind of
Wow.
it's a
It's a
different.
much smaller group.
Yeah, it's a much smaller group. It's like the home runs. Like you can have an outfielder that hits, Otani kind of home runs, and then you have a shortstop. And yes, they both play baseball, both they get at the bat, but it's just a different
Yeah.
skill set. So I wanted people to kind of understand the differences, the nuances of playing cornerback and playing
Interesting.
DB. And I
Yeah.
thought that was really critical. So that room is even smaller when you start to talk about guys who just played cornerback in the modern. I'm just talking about in the modern era.
Sure.
So
Sure. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah, just
Let me ask you a modern day hypothetical, and then, man, I could talk to you for hours and hours. This is so interesting to me. But could 1991 Eric Allen guard AJ Brown or Devonta Smith on the field today. The game has changed so much.
Yes, it has. It has.
And not to take anything away from the Mike
Yeah,
Quicks of the world or those guys, but like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
these guys are quick today and they are
yeah. They
strong. I'm
are.
just curious
Right.
how the game, how you would do in the game today.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, point one. There's the start of the play and what the offense is trying to accomplish. That doesn't change. Okay, so I'm going to know as much as any receiver who lines up about what he's able to do, especially if it's a team like the Eagles who've had tremendous success. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the offseason and I'm going to break your team down. And it's
Okay.
not really going to be about you. It's going to be about the offensive coordinator, what he likes in certain situations. So I'm going to be dialed in as far as, what kind of plays.
Where they're going.
Yeah, where they're going. My thing after probably year 6 or 7, it was never really about the receiver anymore. It was about where the ball was going to be at the end of the play, and I was going to be there. Right. So you may be a little bit faster than me. You may be, stronger than me. You may be, taller, but there's really never a corner who had the combination of things. I would bench press like 330 pounds at one time, and had like a 36-inch vertical.
Yep. Yeah.
Got
No,
my
you're
hand size. My hand size is ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So if I punch you at the line of scrimmage, if you're a smaller dude, that's going to affect you. If you're a bigger guy, I'm just going to really butterfly you, which means I'm going to be a little bit outside your reach. T.O., Sterling Sharp were physical football players. And if you get caught, you're going to pay the price. So you got to use your brain, right? So I'm going to always be effective because of those things, no matter what era of football I play. Yeah.
And you knew better than anybody I've ever watched where that ball was going.
Yeah.
And if they ran the play and the quarterback executed, you knew where that ball was going to be.
Yeah.
And that was your superpower.
That really was it. And Bud Carson was really the person who allowed me to blossom like that because I had that knowledge from Buddy and Jeff. Let me tell you a quick story. We're playing Washington at the end of the season. We have to win to go to the playoffs.
Okay.
At that point, I'm traveling with whoever the receiver is that has the best numbers on, like, it's first down, I play like the outside guy. On third down, if the outside guy wasn't great and they were going to someone else, we would percentage-wise match up. So I was like, oh, okay, Eric, on third down, this guy is a bigger percentage of the receptions than Michael Irvin. So I would go inside and cover that guy. Okay. So it was all percentage based, So we're playing Washington. I'm lined up on the inside, and they motion the outside receiver across formation. So I got to travel. So
you followed him across.
I'm following him across the formation, right? So as I'm following him across, and things for me would go in slow motion. The process would go in slow motion before something was going to happen. So as I'm running, I pass the center, and all of a sudden everything slows down. It was like, why are they putting you in motion? They're not going to challenge you in motion. So they have the receiver, Gary Clark, matched up on our young cornerback. And I'm like, oh, they're moving me so they can throw the ball to Gary. They snap the ball. I run away from my guy, run back to
where you started.
Back to where I started. The snap, he's sitting in the end zone ready to catch the ball. I knock the ball away. And we end up going to the playoffs. But that trust of my preparation and everything was the one signature play that I think, it wasn't an interception. It was a pass knockdown. But if you look at the totality of the play, if that quarterback checks down and throws the ball to my guy, who is probably wide open in the other part of the end zone, I'm toast. But
Yep.
because of all those dynamics and the offseason preparation, the mental approach to the game, I was able to make that play and help our team go to the playoffs.
It's
So
amazing.
yeah,
And
that was one of those.
in every sport, there are people that have exceptional physical abilities. You've got them,
Yeah,
exceptional speed, strength, you name it. I think what sets the greats apart, right? Michael Jordan in basketball, right? As an example, is they mentally understand the game
yeah,
and can slow it down enough in their brain,
right.
even while their bodies are moving so damn quickly,
Yeah,
that they can see things before others can.
yeah,
And you had that gift.
yeah,
And it's incredible, man. And I just want you to know, like, we're so proud of you. I know that, you're a Southern California guy and you spent a lot of time in Vegas out the Raiders, but like we
yeah.
claim you here
Yes,
in Pennsylvania. And I'm grateful for the time. I'm going to give you the last word here to say whatever you want to good people of Philadelphia, good people of Pennsylvania, who are just going to be cheering you on when you put
yeah,
that gold jacket on, and who are going to feel a sense of ownership in your success.
right.
We cheered you on. He's our
Yes,
guy, and
yeah.
we're just proud of you. So I'm going to give you the last word.
Yeah, I'll kind of end with, and they should. The Philadelphia fans should feel like that because they were the first to kind of embrace me and um, teach me what it's about to have a hometown team
Yeah,
with a great home base and you feel comfortable in. I remember, at certain parts of the end zone, they'd have my jersey and they'd have the banners, and it really felt great. Don't take this time that we're in right now as Philadelphia Eagles fans for granted because it goes fast. So
yeah,
appreciate this coaching staff, appreciate the ownership, appreciate the players, be proud of what they're doing, but don't take it for granted because it goes fast. We're in a really special spot right now if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan or a player.
yeah. We sure are. Eric Allen, congratulations, Hall of Famer, Eric Allen. So proud of you, man, and thank you for spending some time with me. This was really, really special.
It's awesome, man. Thanks, Gov. Do a great job.
Thanks, you too. Go
All right.
Birds.